Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 horror action film Bloody Hell. A film that is directed by Alistair Grierson and it stars Ben O'Toole, Meg Fraser, Caroline Craig, Matthew Sunderland and Travis Jeffrey. Now this film focuses on Rex, who we see at the beginning of the film is in the middle of a bank robbery. He decides he's not going to take this. He ends up fighting back, kills many of the bank robbers, and this isn't a spoiler, this happens very early in the film. However, there is an innocent woman who gets in the crossfire. So even though many in the public eye see him as a hero because he was directly responsible for an innocent life being lost, he is then sent to prison for 8 years. Flash forward 8 years, he is released from prison, his life is being made a living hell by the media following him everywhere, and he decides he's going to up and leave, and he heads off to Finland. While in Finland, he ends up getting abducted by a pretty strange family that have some strange eating habits. Well, certainly one member of their family has some strange eating habits. A few tourists have fallen foul previously to this family, and it is up to Rex to try and figure out how to get out in one piece. That is the basic storyline of this film. What are my thoughts on Bloody Hell? Well, now then, sometimes you can be looking through your streaming services, your Amazon Primes, your Netflixes, you name it, you know, your Shudders, and you'll see films and you'll think, yeah, that looks really good, that post looks really good, write-up sounds pretty good, I'm going to watch that. So you put it on and it's rubbish quite a lot of the time, especially the Amazon Prime stuff, which I think this is streaming on. I have to tell you, this one is one of those pleasant surprises. It's a bit of a hidden gem, this one, guys, I have to be honest. I think it's actually a really good film. It's a dark horror comedy with some action thrown in there, and it is done really well. It's the humour, I think, is good in this film. It's done in a really almost sarcastic way. Excuse me, the main character, played by Ben O'Toole, Rex, he's almost got this alter ego that he's talking to. You know, you've got your angel on one shoulder, devil on the other. Well, he's just got a devil, which is the alter ego of him that encourages him to do things he shouldn't be. But it's just him he's talking to. It's almost like Dexter, the TV show Dexter, when he's talking to his father, his conscience and stuff. Well, imagine if it was his father encouraging him to do things he shouldn't be doing and really riling him up and stuff. Well, he's constantly talking to himself throughout this film and having conversations with himself. So as you can imagine, he's fairly unhinged himself. So this family could certainly have bitten off more than they can chew, quite literally, when they abduct Rex and hang him in his cellar. I just didn't expect this film to be anywhere near as good as it was, and I think Ben O'Toole, who plays Rex, who carries this film, does a brilliant job. Is charismatic on screen. You root for him even though you know you probably shouldn't, because he's not really a great person. He's obviously a bit, unhinged himself, but you can't help rooting for him. It's a case of, well, do we root for this guy who's been abducted by this crazy Finnish family, or do we root for this Finnish family who are clearly a bit bonkers themselves? So it's like, who do you root for? Well, you're going to root for Rex because he's funny, he's charismatic, he's in a situation you want him to get out of, and he is uncompromising, you know what I mean, even though he is a little bit, as I've mentioned, unhinged. I think it's filmed really nicely. It feels like it's got a good budget behind it, this film. It's a combination of English speaking, and even though there is some Finnish being spoken in the film, it's all subtitled and it's mostly English. It's just a little bit of Finnish here and there. It's reminiscent of other horrors that you've seen before, yes, or you can quote quite a few, and yes, it does lean heavily on quite a few of those, but it puts this modern sheen and gloss over it, and it feels slick. It's got good dialogue, the script is good, it's funny, and the action is filmed particularly well. The horror aspects, yeah, I suppose that you could argue that the horror aspects are probably the weakest part of this film, because it's not scary in the traditional sense. There are some moments where it's quite tense, because you want Rex to get out of these situations, but it's not like jump scare type scares or that sort of thing. It's not a traditional horror in that sense, but there is some gore in it. There are body parts being removed here and there, and that sort of thing. Cannibalism, you name it. You know what I mean? It's all going on in here. So it's spinning a few places, this film, but I think it spins them pretty well, I'm not going to lie. So I was pretty impressed with this film. I was thoroughly entertained watching it, and it's always a nice surprise to find one of these films, hidden gems, that you weren't expecting to enjoy. I generally speaking, like I say, you'll watch, I'll get sent screeners to watch. A lot of them are fairly substandard or bang average at best. And sometimes you'll find one of these hidden gems and you'll be like, oh, this looks an interesting one, I'm going to watch this and review it on the channel, see what it's like. And a lot of the times, like I say, they're very middling films. This one does an awful lot with the budget it's got. It's clever in how it does its casting. It feels authentic, in regards to its locations, the language used, Finnish and all that kind of stuff. And it's just hugely entertaining and a lot of fun to watch, and I think you'd be entertained watching this one. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, and I think you'll probably like it if you give it a go too, if you like this sort of horror stroke action film. So that is my review for Bloody Hell. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I will be back with more content and reviews on Screen Stars very, very soon.